I'm just gonna go out and say it. I'm just gonna put it out there. The Miami Dolphins are a dumpster fire. And you know what it is?
Trying not to be.
You know what it is with me?
They tried.
You know what it is with me, Jeff? It's the fact that they are repeat offenders. Like, they just continue to do nonsense. And people just kind of turn a blind eye to it like it's fine. Like, let's think about all the things that have transpired within the last year that a lot of people don't even realize. They tried to get Sean Payton out of his job, so he quit, and they tried to hire him. Brady tried to literally finagle his way to the Dolphins, and Brady's not in trouble, but yet the Dolphins get in trouble. We had the whole Flores situation where he was told to tank games, and he would get $100,000 a game for tanking. Like, all of this stuff transpired within the last year, and all they get is what? So this is what's the fine? $1.5 million, 1.5.
2 months away from the facility, and
couple draft picks.
Couple draft picks.
It's first round, third round.
The one first round, and they have an extra that year.
Yeah.
But you got to remember that
2 months away from the facility.
Yeah,
2 months away from the
for the owner.
For the owner, he just
Stephen
can't be around
Ross.
the team.
He's
and I
banned
think he
from the
can't go to
facility
meetings for the year, something like that.
They
like
took him off
meetings.
a lot of committees that we never have heard of.
Like, yo, what kind of slap on the wrist is that?
$8.2 billion this guy's worth. They fined him 1.5, and then
we're worried about him. I could have said understand the players not going to the facility,
right?
Or maybe even the Jerry Jones.
But
with him,
Jerry Jones is different.
He probably hasn't been to the facility in like 2 years anyway.
Shit open. He doesn't go there.
He probably has like one of the what do you call those monitors?
Yeah,
where he got the big ass monitor where he can just see everything that's going on there. So it's like he's there already. Like, what does he care? This is one of, like, for me, this is the thing with me with the NFL. They pick and choose when to bring the hammer down on certain people. Like this, like, what do you think about the penalty? This is the softest penalty you can never think of in regards to like what transpired. This was some foul shit that they did.
Yeah. They upset the competitive balance of multiple teams. They definitely just had plain disregard for any of the NFL bylaws and the way they did their business. Everybody understands there's tampering that goes on.
Right.
But the way they didn't care. They were like putting shit in the subject of emails.
Out in the open with it.
Like, this shit was wild, bro. They were super flagrant.
This is worse than the Hillary emails. Worse than
But I mean,
worse than the Hillary emails.
For the NFL, I can't admit that. There's too much money in gambling.
Right.
There's too much money. There's too much in the public believing that these games are truly competitive.
Right.
And there's too much in the public believing that there's nothing that we're doing to fix the games, and there's nothing that anybody can do to influence the outcome of these games.
Which means that they should have brought the hammer down on them to make sure you keep that reputation.
No, so really quickly, what you're saying is that the teams are never supposed to acknowledge that they're tanking, which they don't. We can just see by the personnel that they put out that they're
like the Texans,
tanking.
they were tanking.
They literally put in this man's contract, we'll give you more money for higher draft picks.
Right.
So, like, yes, they're not saying, how do you get high draft picks?
By tanking. By not putting the best
and it's
players
in the contract,
out there.
So, like, you
Paul,
can't...
which contract you talking about?
In the coach's contract. He gets
Flores?
more money. For him, Flores and Hugh Jackson would got more money if the team secured the higher draft picks.
Well, my understanding of the offer was that it was a tongue-in-cheek offer.
That's something extra.
They never found the $100,000 per game.
Okay,
but in general, in your contract, you would make extra money if the team gets high draft picks. So, like,
there's only one way to get high draft picks.
Right,
exactly.
by not putting the best players out there. Like, this running back is a claim. He's very good. He's we need to sign. No. We want the guy that works at CBS. We want this guy here. He runs a 4.7. No, we want Tua right now. He's the best quarterback.
Best
no, he's
quarterback
not.
team. Like, no,
because Tua was what the 2020 draft pick. Right?
Yeah, he was top 3, top 5.
I mean, his college
like
career was dope, and he definitely got drafted where he should be.
Right, but in regards to like
they wanted Burrow though.
In regards to the other players, the other quarterbacks, huh?
They wanted Watson.
They wanted Watson.
Yeah.
Flores wanted Watson.
That's what they were trying to get.
Right.
And that shit went where it was.
Yeah, Flores wanted Watson, and they didn't want to do it. So, but my thing is this. So the NFL ruled that Stephen Ross was wrong. That they, whatever they did was not what they want, right? However, here comes the outrage hand. However, the whole Brian Flores situation, they deemed that as was just a tongue-in-cheek conversation. That's okay. So you give them the penalty for all the stuff that you found. But Brian Flores, oh no, that's a joke.
Where was the vitriol? The way they
What's the outrage for that?
Where the way they came at Brian Flores for even mentioning
Correct.
it. Now almost everything he said outside of the $100,000, that's the only thing they didn't find. They found every single else thing.
And the $100,000, that's just a joke.
But because everything came from the Brian Flores conversation,
everything.
right?
But like, where's the backlash for Stephen Ross? Not even just with the suspension. The public. How many people came out and said Brian Flores was race baiting?
Right.
He was wrong.
Right.
He was lying.
Dragged him through the mud. Yeah.
And then they admit that Stephen Ross did everything he said he did, and a little slap on him.
He was joking. So that's a joke. That's a joke.
Crazy.
Come on. So, you see, this is why people don't like to play the black card a lot. I like to play the black card a lot because it makes sense to me.
A lot of times.
And what happens if Brian Flores tanks and then they get that super team? Does he get to stake around and actually coach that team?
Probably not.
Well, from what I understand with the entire the decision in that, they said the fact that Brian Flores was trying so hard to win those games is the reason why they said that they didn't take Stephen Ross serious.
But you know what's crazy about that? Here, and that's what I call idiot logic, right? Because if I come to you and say, Jeff, I'd like for you to kill my girlfriend or kill my wife, right? And then you go ahead and say, nah, I'm not gonna do that. And then you go to the police and say, listen, this is what's going down, and I'm just letting you know what's going down. And then I come out and say, we're just bullshitting around. The threat's still out there.
Yep.
It's a threat. You should take that personally, right? You should investigate it. You should actually take it seriously. So the fact that they actually came to a conclusion that Stephen Ross did all this foul shit, right? All this foul shit is fine. Like, okay, we're going to fine you $1.5 million. We're going to take you away from the facility, all this shit. But no. This part of it, he was joking. How the fuck do you know that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
if he was that sinister to do all of these other things, this doesn't fall in the same line of it.
Exactly.
How do you differentiate that to be that and this to be that?
Yeah.
That's dumb.
It's dumb.
Yeah.
And a couple things too. I almost lost my train of thought. But now what you've really done is let the other owners know this only costs $1.5
exactly.
million.
So if that's the penalty, okay, so we just gonna be out there wilding now.
Because they didn't say nothing about the $300 million check he's gonna be getting in
Correct.
a couple months.
Correct.
And now I had to forfeit half of those to charities or half of those back to the league.
Correct.
Then you put the hammer down. You let every other owner know this is a no-no.
Or taking away sponsorships or stuff like that.
Blah, blah, blah.
Like,
you let them know.
That's money.
But $1.5 million, like, can I give you that after I get my big check?
That's like somebody going to Aaron Rodgers and say, you know what, the fact that you took these psychedelic drugs, we're gonna fine you $1.5 million. You know how much money Aaron Rodgers is making this year? That's not even a
drop in the bucket.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
You gotta spend that money.
You gotta spend that money. Like,
yeah.
Aaron Rodgers probably said I spent more on the psychedelics.
I ain't gonna lie to you, man.